다음으로 세 번째 발표는 콜롬비아 스마트 도시 정책 방향이라는 내용으로 콜롬비아 국가기획부 주택도시부 호세 안토니오 핀존 부국장님께서 발표해 주시겠습니다. 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다.
Thank you for this kind invitation. I'm very happy to be here today. First of all, I have to say thank you for this kind invitation. I'm very happy to be here with you today. The title of my presentation is Smart Cities in Colombia, a new approach. My name is José Antonio Pinzon. I am a Deputy Director of Housing and Urban Development in the National Planning Department in Colombia. The agenda, I propose 3 points: current situation of cities in Colombia, smart cities indicators, and proposed strategy that will work in DMP in Colombia. First, I want to tell you about the relevance of our cities. In this slide, I want to show you in 1951, the urban population in the system of cities in Colombia is about 27% of the population. In 2010, this number is near close to 60% of the population. It's very important to mention that here in this system of city, we only mention 151 municipalities. In Colombia, we have 1,100 municipalities. In this picture, only show information about 151. I explain that after. We estimate in 2050 the urban population in the system of cities is about 66% approximately. And the idea of these cities is approximately generate 76% of our GDP in Colombia. It's very important to mention that in Colombia actually we have close to 45 cities with a population larger than 100,000 inhabitants. In our projections in National Planning Department, we estimate the urban population will increase in 18 millions, approximately in 2050. And we have near to 70 cities with population higher than 100,000 inhabitants in 2050. This is the system of cities in Colombia. As I told you, we have 1,100 municipalities, but here in this map only show 151 municipalities. We have 4 categories of these municipalities. Municipalities with more than 100,000 inhabitants. We have 2 categories. With urban agglomeration, we have 18 metropolitan areas composed by 113 municipalities, and we have 16 municipalities other than 100 inhabitants, 100,000 inhabitants in Colombia. And in the shorter than 100,000 inhabitants, we have 2 categories. In the blue circle, the capital city, we have 8 municipalities. In the map is in the periphery of Colombia, and we have 14 municipalities that have important subregional function in Colombia. This is the green circle. We have many problems in Colombia. For example, in 10 topics related with urban and territorial planning, it's the main characteristic. For example, 52% of the population in the system of cities in Colombia is located in areas of low availability of natural hydrological source. 30% of the Colombian population is at risk to be affected by landslides and 48 by flooding. And we have conflicts between protected areas and urban growth. This is the footprint of urban footprint in Bogotá. I can show you is over the other municipalities in Colombia, in Bogotá. Current, the land development plans lack of a continuous view of the territory. For example, 60% define inadequately the urban perimeter, 50% determine expansion area without inadequate information and criteria, 61% determine mistaken protected areas, maps of the 21 of the PODs are not georeferenced in Colombia, 60% do not take in account agriculture, livestock and forestry use, and we have a very important number of municipalities update our PODs. 886 municipalities lost the long-term viability by the end of 2015. In our law, it's approximately, our vision is the 12 years division of law, the long term. We don't have municipalities include, or his POD not include regional determinants in the PODs, and territorial planning ends at the political boundaries. This is a big problem in our opinion. And below application of land value capture instruments, only 12% of the municipalities use land capture value instruments, only 3% include strategies and programs in order to develop the rural component. This is a big problematic in our development plans. And the other big problem, the information is a good key, a very big important to do in Colombia. For example, in cadastre, this is the current state of cadastre. We found only 370 municipalities with its cadastre update, and in the urban area. This is the left map. We have 14 municipalities without cadastre formation. That means we don't have information in this urban area in 14 municipalities in our country. And in the other case, in the rural zones, for example, we have 378 updated municipalities in the cadastre, and we have 18 municipalities without cadastre formation. And the complementary, we have 668 updated municipalities in the case of rural zones, and in the urban area we have 728 updated municipalities. For this reason, we have an cadastre that's not covered in the entire territory, neither the required variables for its users. 29% of the national area does not have cadastral information, as I told you in the last map. 64% of the municipalities have outdated cadastre, in the case of urban, and we have imprecise information. Lack of process and methodology under the international standards, lack of cartography inputs with cadastre proposed. The majority of the cadastre appraisal do not reflect a rational value of land, and we have a lack of definition of area and boundaries. Another problem, we have a sectorial disjoint, for example, inadequate interrelation between cadastre and register. For example, only 46% of the rural plots and 68% the urban plots interrelate with the authorities, the cadastral authority. There is no articulation between cadastre and other sectorial databases, for example, environment, and not open data in the cadastre. We observed in our territory, the Colombian cities were developed in isolated territories with little relation and complementarity between them. For example, the main cities in Colombia, Bogotá, Medellín, Cali, don't have relation between them. The main relation is with the coast. You can see the map, the roads. The main cities have to connected with the coast. And we have the urban mobility in the main cities is reducing the quality of life and competitiveness. A trip across the city can take more than an hour and a half. In the case of Bogota, close to 2 hours to across the city. This is the saturation index. We have problems, for example, in our network. Actually, the green line means that we don't have problem with saturation index, and the yellow line we have a little problems, and the red line is a big problem with saturation. If we work hard in the nearest years, in 2020 we have a good saturation index in our network, roads network, but we don't stop there, because in 2035 we have again problems with the index saturation in our network roads. For this reason, we have to work in a master plan of transportation that includes rivers and trains. In this moment, we don't use the rivers and we don't use trains in Colombia. Only is in the network roads our mobility in Colombia. And another topic that is very important to take in account is formulate different public policies. In this case, we try to include the demographic bonus in this analysis. For example, cities like Riohacha and Quito have different problems that cities like Bogota and Medellin. For example, in this case, the cities like Quito and Riohacha have to action related with the care, early childhood, strengthening the sexual and reproductive education, reduce the rate of infant mortality, extending coverage of public service and health, and reduce the housing deficit. This is one kind of problem in our system of cities. Another kind, we classify this city in six categories. The first category is embryonic. The next category is the adolescent cities. Remember that this category have a high correlation with the demographic bonus. In the case of these cities like Santa Marta, Montería, Valledupar, Sincelejo, and Florencia, the action is different. We have to take in account to reduce the adolescent pregnancy, extend the coverage of high school and promote quality and care of early childhood. For example, in this kind of city like Barranquilla, Cartagena, Cúcuta, that we call it young and big cities, we have to reduce the population of young that not working and not studying. Expand projects of new housing and in housing employment, and define productivity and employment routes. In the next category of the city, we call it adult cities. We have to promote savings, capital human qualification, and formalization of employment. This is cities like Ibagué, Neiva, Popayán, and Pasto in the country. And the next category is related to mature cities, and if you can see, is the different action to the before cities. For example, in this case, we have a number of important people, all people. For example, for this reason, we have to take or focus action related with the care for senior citizens, extend coverage of secondary or higher education, and strengthening the planning process in the metropolitan area. The next category of this classification, we have to the senior cities. We have action related with the care for senior citizens, action of young people, attraction of young population in order to extend the bonus, in this case, and effective access to the health service. We have to formulate, as told you, differential public policy because the territory is complex and is different. For this reason, we need to take into account the age composition of the population. And we think that this 6 category is a good line for different kind of action that we have to take into account in national government. We have some indicators. For example, in the City Prosperity Index of UN Habitat, we classify different kind of our cities, in big cities, medium cities, and we have to do that the city, the prosperity, the more higher is in Bogotá, Medellín, and Bucaramanga, the senior cities that I showed you before. Our proposal is related in six topics, 6 actions related with the public policy of smart city, strengthening project for territorial entities, observatory of system of cities, new land development plan program to assistance for the municipalities, multi-purpose cadastre in our law, and a big data topics. For example, our current situation of our city, high costs associated to environmental degradation, high rate of non-sustainable motorization, weakness of land development plans, conflict between protected areas and urban growth, delay in reorganization of traditional public transportation, low broadband penetration, and low productivity sectors. And the idea, we think that smart city have a long vision and participatory constructions, reduce the greenhouse gases, urban sustainability and mobility, more and better public space, supra-municipal vision and differential approach, integrate urban and rural territory, digital connectivity, improve productivity and competitiveness, and improve municipal revenues, and safer and fairer cities. We have to articulate different initiatives of the national government. For example, we define 6 structural aids related with mobility and transport, urban and territorial planning, environmental sustainability, governance and funding, productivity and competitiveness, and quality of life. For example, in our college related with the transport, here they are working in the sustainability mobility on urban transport, in the master plan of intermodal transport with a vision the long term, and in the case of the urban and territorial planning, we are working in sustainable urban drains, and multi-purpose cadastre. We have another important initiative related with the citizen security, logistic mission, policy of science and technology and innovation. As you can see in this circle, we have two transversal axes related with the digital and connectivity, ICT, and science, technology, and innovation. We have different kind of initiatives in our country to work in our cities. And the most important, in my opinion, and we are working with the Korean government about environmental sustainability, we are working in a green growth mission to take in account our mission for our cities to habitat free. Okay, the next strategy to assist and to support the municipalities, we are working in solutions include that reduce, for example, the idea is reduce the time in report writing to national institutions, reduce the cost associated to software licensing, infrastructure, and dedicated staff, allow access from any device, facilitate the citizen participation through the use tools and open government, and flexible computing tool adjusted to the requirements of every territorial entity. The observatory of the system of city, we think in our office that we need to measure, because it's very important to take in account different of information in our city. The observatory of the system of city, the objective is generate, compile, process, analyze, and spread information in different levels, national, territorial, regional and municipality and sector information. We have to, the idea is support monitoring and evaluation the urban development state of the city for many reasons, no? Mainly knowledge transfer, decision making in planning and urban management with territorial approach, prioritization of investment and promote of regional development. We think we are working in 7 terms and 23 sub-terms. In the case of the term, we are working in topics related to productivity, environment, quality of life, connectivity, land management, infrastructure, and institutional information. We have 22 sub-terms related with in the case of the productivity, structure, and efficiency of market, economy, of the scale, agglomeration economics, sophistication and innovation. The case of the environment, we need information related to the ecological structure, climate change, risk management. In the case of the quality of life, population structure and dynamics, costs of living in our cities, living condition. The case of the connectivity, we have 2 areas, physical connectivity and digital connectivity. And the last management, we need information about territorial planning, territorial management, and the rural and urban relationship. The case of infrastructure, we are thinking information about transport infrastructure, urban facility, and domestic utilities. In the last case, in the institutional information, we are thinking about public finance, institutional coordination, and governance and governability. The idea is take an index of the smart city. This year, we are working in that action. And in 2017, the Observatory of System of City implemented in Colombia. Another initiative for the national government is give technical assistance and a complement for the municipalities and departments in our country in updating and formulating the process of the new land development plans in order to face challenges of national territorial planning through 3 components: preparation, formulation, and implementation. The idea is the institutional arrangement of the national and regional entities to obtain inputs, strengthen local institutional capacities, and support the technical studies required. Engage municipalities with the POD updating process, reflect the development plan, supra-municipal vision and differential approach. We think this is our big problem currently in Colombia. Integrate urban and rural territories and the limitation, the risk area. And the last, strengthen local institution capacity in order to generate resources through the PODs and incorporation and application of planning management and financial instruments for urban and rural lands. For example, with our new PODs, we must reach supra-municipal vision with differential approach, integrate urban and rural territory, improve productivity and competitiveness. We have a dimension. The first dimension, the case of vision, long-term vision with differential approach, articulation of regional, metropolitan, and national levels. In the case of information, that the municipalities use geographic information system for decision making about all the territory. In the case of competitiveness, efficient mix of land use and its optimization, clarify the housing policy, and promote economic development through the territorial model. The case of institutionality, we think in quantitative and participative management of the territorial vision and strengthen the municipalities institution. The other dimension related with the mobility, environment, infrastructure, and instruments within the road infrastructure and mobility according to the growth, sustainable public transportation system. The case of the environment, the limitation of the risk area, we have problem with that, adaptation of mitigation measures, rural dimension with productivity approach. The case of infrastructure, with collective facility according to the type of city, public service adjusted to the city model, sustainable urbanism and construction. We are working in a policy paper about this and identification and intervention on slums. And finally, the incorporation and application of planning, management and financing instruments for urban and rural land. The idea is much to reduce the travel times, reduce the greenhouse emission, and improve the municipal incomes. The idea, we are working in cadastre. The idea is cover the entire territory. In Colombia, as I told you, we have problem with information in cadastre. We don't complete this information in all countries. We have to incorporate in all forms of land tenure or land tenure. In this moment, we don't have information of tenure in our cadastre. Provide an inventory of wastelands with physical update variables of plots, complying the methodological with international standards, looking precisely georeferencing our plots, our land parcel, individualizing plots with detail, this is the idea, and reflecting a cadastre value close to the reality, the commercial value, this is the idea. Actually, it's not close to the commercial values. And finally, with information of area and boundaries coinciding with the cadastral and register, this is a very important challenge in our country, articulate with other sectors to provide spatial data infrastructure and guarantee information access by all users in big data. And finally, we are working in these files of knowledges, water, mobility, CISBEN, education, and solid waste, were the first initiative, the first pilot with big data. In this case, we are working, for example, in the case of water, analyze to optimize collection and generate savings exchange, analysis the movement patterns of the population. In the lectures before of me, this is the big application or the great application in the world. We are working in this area in this moment. And for example, in education, evaluation of the profitability of education investment by chain analysis, and in the case of the solid waste, the idea is analysis of volume and short of weights in the areas and its utilization. Thank you very much. You are very kind for your attention.
콜롬비아 스마트 정책방에 대해서 발표해 주신 호세 안토니오 핀존 부장님께 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.